Now here comes the part that I believe could be a favorite. In these hermetically sealed envelopes I hold in my hand are what we call, what's that? No, that's an excellent point. Now that that's clarified, does it
now
help?
that it's clarified, and yes, I can absolutely support a private company wanting to come in and donate the time and energy to the school districts. Absolutely. We need all the help that we can get. We need as much community involvement as we can get. And I think it strengthens us as a town, as a district, and as a people together. So I would absolutely support that.
Thank you. All right. In my hand, I hold these hermetically sealed envelopes. These are called our speed round questions, where we're just going to ask those simple questions that, no pressure, no stress. It's just simply a way to get to know you personally a little bit better. So here are the choices that you get. We have envelopes A, B, C, and D, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta for our military friends out there. And you choose a letter, and these are the questions that I will pose to you to answer. You absolutely can. Pick a card, any card. Give me a second for that one. All of my notes have blown around, and I believe it's Ron. Do we start with Ron? I got you full too. Oh, okay. All right. Did you ever get detention in school?
No. I was a Boy Scout in school.
Yeah, really? That's right.
I was a teacher's pet.
Are you a do-it-yourself person, or do you call an expert?
I asked my wife to do most of that work around the house. She's great. I help her.
You got my attention. If you could live anywhere, where would it be?
Gilbert. I've had the opportunity to live anywhere, and I live in Gilbert.
What is your most memorable school project?
Project, right? I'm not a good.
School project?
Played a lot of sports. I don't know if you call that a project.
Like a diorama or a science fair?
Oh yeah, always doing the, the science stuff with things that explode. Yeah, those are always fun.
Explosions, you really have my attention now. Okay, your favorite sports team?
New York Yankees and Arizona Diamondbacks.
All right. All right, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Cats or dogs?
What?
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Do you tweet?
No.
What is your favorite way to give back in Gilbert?
I've been doing a lot of that. My favorite is being George Washington for the Constitution Fair.
I thought I knew your face. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, you're on the beach. Lay around or explore?
Explore.
Thank you. That was Ron Bellis.
I'm glad I didn't get the detention question.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a rebel. All right. What's your favorite sport?
Baseball.
What was your favorite subject in school?
English.
How do you take your steak?
Medium rare.
Oh, nice. Do you have a nickname?
Yes, but it sounds like an STD, and so I don't use it.
Now we have to know.
My parents used to call me Donnaria because my middle name is Marie. That's going all over the internet, isn't it?
Oh, it's okay. It just sounds like something a sibling would do. But your parents?
No, my parents gave that one to me. My aunt still uses it.
We need to talk to them. What is the last book you finished reading?
Oh, it was part of the David Eddings Belgariad series.
Ketchup or mustard?
Mustard.
Are you a night owl or an early bird?
I'm Dawn. I'm an early bird.
All right. What is your favorite restaurant in the city of Gilbert?
Oh, that's a good question.
I thought it was.
It's hard to choose. You know, I just ate at SoCal Fish Tacos, and that was really good.
All right.
So,
Your biggest fear?
oh, losing my children. In any capacity. Out the window, in any capacity, losing my children.
Understood. Thank you very much, Dawn Brimhall.
He's cheating already, Fred.
And I want you to know that does not reflect my science grades from high school.
Reed, your favorite holiday tradition?
My wife's family has a number of Christmas carols that were written by her grandmother. And so every Christmas, or her grandmother and her grandmother's siblings, so every Christmas we sing Christmas carols that are family Christmas carols.
Do you travel the neighborhood doing this?
If you've heard me sing, we might call Daryl, because I know he can sing. I've heard his reputation for singing, but no.
I've heard Daryl. He's amazing. Fries or potato chips?
Oh, fries. You gotta have some grease.
All right, thank you. This forum is over. The name of your favorite teacher in school?
Mr. Allred, U.S. History AP.
Do you believe in ghosts? Ghosts. Dawn's joking underwater.
No. not in the scary sense of them.
Now, I'm looking at this question to read it, and I'm thinking where Reed is going to take this. What was your favorite grade? Not the D you got in science.
My favorite grade, you know, I want to go with the engineering side, 6%. Probably my favorite grade was my college econ class, because it was probably the class I worked hardest for.
Okay, see, because it could also be, you could also say, you know, Miss Davies' class in first grade, or, you know what, just out of curiosity, what was your favorite grade in school?
Oh, you mean,
No, it could go either way, you weren't wrong.
probably 5th grade. Had a teacher who just completely inspired everybody.
You know what?
Mr. Melville.
I wanted to hear that. That was awesome. Thank you. What was the first concert that you attended?
The first one I remember attending was my sister's choir concert, and I remember it because I was about 6 at the time, and my parents left me at the high school.
His parents experienced your biggest fear. Bacon or sausage?
Bacon,
All
bacon.
right.
It's all about the grease.
Your favorite memory from junior high school?
You have good memories in junior high school?
Yeah, just not high school.
Probably winning the class election, being class president.
Good answer. What's your pet peeve?
Let's repeat that, okay?
Okay.
Biggest pet peeve? Probably my kids leaving their shoes on the stairs.
Because when you come down the stairs at night,
Our master's on the main floor, so I don't trip on him, but it
Okay.
still drives me crazy.
Gotcha. And finally, what TV show can you binge watch? Why doesn't anybody ask me these questions? Maybe one day I'll run for something just so I can answer a question like that.
We'll go with the one that my kids just turned on Netflix, and we've been binge watching it more than we should, Chuck.
Yes! I'm sorry. I really wasn't supposed to go there. My car is named Chuck Bartowski. Just so you know. Awesome. So that was our speed round, and that was Reed Carr. Thank you, Reed.
Robin, since you asked, we have one more envelope.
Really?
Yeah, so-
Seriously?
Yeah.
You're going to do
So
this?
why don't we hammer this out?
Oh, man.
All right. Who is your favorite actress?
Joe, give me the mic.
No, I'm good.
Can you all hear him?
Who is your favorite actress?
Favorite actress? Who is it?
I'm really bad with favorites. I can't do favorites because
Who's your least favorite actress?
my least favorite actress, Tia Leone.
There you go. What is the name of your most influential teacher you've ever had?
My first grade teacher, Miss Davies, she taught me left from right. I still struggle, yeah.
What is something that you're horrible at? Don't say the Air Force.
Horrible. Answering questions on the fly. I really am. I'm terrible at answering questions on the fly.
What's your favorite comfort food?
Homemade tacos. With
Nuts?
turkey.
Nuts or no nuts?
No nuts.
What's the first thing you'd spend if you ever won the lottery? What's the first thing you'd spend the money on?
Really? We have to go here?
You wanted questions.
I did, but I wanted his questions. Honestly, charity, tithing.
Can you whistle?
On the inhale only.
What's your favorite smell?
Rain.
What's the last book you finished reading?
Leadership and self-deception.
Your favorite place to visit in Gilbert?
My house.
You got it. Robin O'Bannon.
Or the temple. Sorry. I'm gonna get you for that, Joe. Okay. So now, has everybody had the opportunity, if they desire, to go and submit questions to our question screeners for our candidates? Right? Okay, we are going to move into the final portion of our forum. I have quite a collection over here, don't I? The final portion of our forum, which is another set of questions. I've really got to get this down. Joe, I'm going to ask for your assistance for one more thing. As far as the order for answering questions, because I feel like I'm confusing everyone, including myself. How do you want to drive this train?
Second half, why don't you start from the opposite end and move back this way?
Okay, move back this way, and then just like this, just in a loop.
Start with Reed, Don, Ron,
Read, Don, Ron.
and then swing it around.
And then swing it around back to Read, Don,
In
Ron.
fantasy football world, we call that the snake draft.
Oh, yeah, I'm thoroughly confused now. Thank you. All right, so I want to start off with this question. I think it's a fantastic question. Read, Don, Ron. Read. Was there a specific moment that made you decide to run, a straw that broke the camel's back?
There was not a specific moment. For me, it was more of a process. Having some concerns, started off with some concerns about budget probably a few years ago, moved into concerns that I heard from teachers and met with teachers, and then started getting more active with school boards, the school board meetings, and watching them online, then attending them in person, and it really was a process.
Thank you. Dawn.
I think we probably could all say that it was a process of watching and studying and research. And for me, I had to know that it was something that I would be able to do with my children and make sure that they were taken care of first. I made it a matter of study. I made it a matter of prayer. I made it a matter of discussions with my husband. And at the last minute, literally 1 month before the signatures were due, the decision was made and I ran for school board.
Thank you.
I agree, it was more of a process. It wasn't any one thing, it was just a series of things, watching, listening, showing concern, and thinking that maybe I can make a difference.
If there was a moment for any of us, it was probably the moment that our spouses said, yes, you can do it.
That's the one person you need to have in your camp for sure. Absolutely. Thank you also very much. Okay. Read Don Ron. It's just so magical and musical. I love it. All right, let's start with this one, or let's move forward with this one. What do you know about the recent ZBB process? Okay, zero-based budget, thank you. All right, and what would you have done differently?
Oh, so many things. The zero-based budgeting was a process where they were supposed to take the budgets down to zero and then build them back up again, making sure that the priorities were taken care of first. Instead, what happened was they took last year's budget and they removed percentages from it. The first was 80%, so they removed 20%. The way that I would have done it differently was I would have started at 0, and then I would have made sure that the board was informed, which meant that the community was informed throughout, and then finished it strongly by having a specific list. This is what is going to be cut. This is how much we are going to be saving and these cuts, and this is how we are going to protect the classroom and the teachers first. It needed to be much more transparent. It needed to be much stronger, and Dr. Kishimoto should have been informed the minute that she got into office so that she could also have implemented it the best way.
Yeah, I was disappointed that wasn't a true zero-based budgeting. It just simply wasn't, and that was, again, back to this trust issue. They didn't do what they were asked to do, or at least what they told us they were going to do. And what I would have done with a zero-based budgeting, you start with the classroom, that's the core, that's the mission, and you build out. Classroom first, all the resources that are necessary, especially the teacher, and then the next level. And then you just, this concentric circles until you get to a point where, okay, this farthest out here, do we really need this? And that sets the priority as you're going through this zero-based budgeting. And you start with 0, you don't start at 80%.
You know, I actually tried to be on the ZBB committee, and unfortunately, they had more parents volunteer, so I was not placed on one of the committees, but I did attend probably 90% of the meetings, work studies, and so on as they did. So, you know, Don and Ron did hit some key valid points as far as the process. I can tell you I've been in 2 different organizations that have introduced ZBB, so I've seen it introduced. The mistakes that they made are fairly common for first-time introduction, but they are right in that you usually start with a 0. You have your objectives and priorities, your mission statement, if you will, and you start with that, which would obviously start with the classroom, and fill those. You would have, in this case, they did try to hit legal requirements and so on. But one of the things that I would have done that I didn't understand why they didn't do is the way they bucketed things. They said, well, we're going to talk about high school. Well, not every high school is equivalent. We needed to break out those high schools and said, here's each one of the high schools. And not every high school has the same priorities or the same needs or the same student needs. We should have broken it out further and in more detail. That does 2 things. 1, it allows you to prioritize within the budget. And 2, I did look back for the yellow and didn't see it. You moved. The other thing is it allows you to learn what is one high school doing well and doing efficiently, and where appropriate, borrow those learnings.
Can I add one thing really fast?
Absolutely.
I want to say thank you to the parents that did. That was a great deal of time and effort that they spent. And we're very grateful that they gave up that effort.
Thank you. Did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, just wait for the next one.
I just wanted you guys to know that this is a wonderful exercise in sharing that's going on up here. One of my favorite books growing up was Everything I Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. Milk and cookies are a good thing. Hold hands when crossing the street, and sharing. It's, whenever you ever have a question about anything, just go back to the basics. All right, so there has been contention between the current board members. How will you help stop that and work with others even if you disagree?
Well, and that's part of our process, is that, there is maybe not necessarily contention, but differences in ideas and philosophy and approach. But we can all be just respectful of one another, be kind. Building relationships is very important. Not a kumbaya thing. They don't need to worry about that and play that kind of game, but just be nice, be kind. Be respectful to other people's time and their energies, and the fact that everybody involved, certainly on the board, there's no pay there. These are all volunteers that believe strongly in what they stand for. One of the important things that I think I can bring to the board, and that is how the board is run. In other words, they're using Robert's Rules of Order and following that process, and not going off into tangents. And we see a little bit too much of that, and unfortunately there's some personal issues that have crept into the process, and that's very unfortunate. And I think with the new board makeup, that'll change.
Thank you.
You know, that's one of the main reasons I've gotten involved with this race, and has been one of my platform issues the entire time, and that is the idea of building bridges, and a lot of people have misunderstood what that means. We're not asking people to give up their values, we're not asking you to give up your principles, but to show respect and to truly try to learn why the other side believes the way they do. It's not just what do they believe, it's not just what is their position, it's why. I've been involved with multi-million-dollar negotiations, billion-dollar contracts between Fortune 100 companies. We've gone head-to-head, two 800-pound gorillas, and we came to a standstill until myself and the lead negotiator for the other company literally flew to Denver, sat in an airport hotel for 3 days, just the two of us, and hashed out those issues. And the way that we did it was we kept asking why. Why do you want that? Okay, well, why is that important? Well, why does that affect your company? And sometimes you had to ask 5 and 6 whys, and once you got to the underlying issues, we almost always found a common solution. And we need to have that dialogue with people who we don't agree with.
My biggest phrase is you can disagree without being disagreeable. There's no reason to disrespect the views and the opinions of somebody else. They have those opinions for a reason. If you feel strongly about yours, they probably feel strongly about theirs for the same reasons. You've researched, you've talked about it with others, you made that decision for a reason. It's a matter of, again, coming to an agreement based on research and dialogue and mutual respect.
Thank you. I will tell you, just from personal experience and team building, and that's a word that gets thrown around the corporate arena quite frequently, the term of team building. It's as much of an art as it is anything. But you must seek first to understand. Absolutely. And anyone who's willing to do that is miles ahead of the game. All right, so we have 2 more questions in this round. Is that okay with everyone? A little toasty out here. All right. Next question is, what has the district administration recommended recently that you would have said no to, and why?
Okay, well, not now, but I'll text you.
Da, 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 da. You can take a moment for that.
I thought you were going to ask agree, and I was going through my mind on several things, so when you said disagree, that kind of threw me off. From the administration, I have to admit that right now I actually like most of the direction that Dr. Kishimoto is going with several of her initiatives. What I understand and the way I'm interpreting the new proposal, I've forgotten what she's called it, her priorities of allowing more latitude with the schools. Yeah, it wasn't empowerment. It was, I thought, yes, that's about time now. The devil's in the details, and we don't have all the details on that. I loved the comment that she made when she was suggesting a hire. There were 2 employees, 2 positions open. She said, I don't want to fill both those positions. I want to upgrade one of those employees and ask the board to give an increase in pay that was not equal to the 2 employees together, so lowering the overall total cost, but getting a skill set that more matched that. That's the right direction. So I apologize. The second I hand the mic over to Dawn, my thoughts will come, but when you asked that question, my thoughts went, what do I agree with? And there's some things that I like the direction and reasoning that she's giving on some of those things.
When he asked, what are you worst at? And at the answering questions on the fly, you're doing beautifully. And there's a reason why you're sitting in those chairs, and I get the pillow. Dawn?
The biggest thing that I would disagree with, the one thing that I'm thinking of right now, is for Dr. Kishimoto to have come in and hired an extra administration right off the bat. For me, it's like she further insulated herself from the principals, because she put one more layer between the principals who work with the students every day, and then there's this extra administration here, and then there's Dr. Kishimoto. I think that coming into a new place, probably culture shock, coming from Hartford, Connecticut, Arizona is totally different, I think it would have helped her much more to have that direct contact with the principals. That's what I would have said no to.
And Ron.
Well, a few things. First of all, I'll go back to June. The fact is, the first thing out of the administration's mouth in coming to talking about the new budget is getting rid of 80 teachers. Why is that the first thing you did? Disagree with that. Also, they got rid of the advanced reading situation. It's a very popular, very successful program. But the thing that, one thing I kind of have a real concern with Dr. Kishimoto, and that is that a year ago at this time, we had a public information officer, now called communications director, who was making $130,000. That is simply outrageous. And as a former public information officer, believe me, I know the value of one, at least I like to think so, but $130,000 for a public information officer at a school district is just totally unacceptable. She replaced one with a $90,000 a year salary, and I still think that's a little bit steep. You could get a very good person around the range of $55,000, $60,000 a year and get the job done. So we really got to be careful with the money we spend.
Thank you. Thank all of you. We are rolling to a close, the close of our forum. We thank you so much for attending today. What we're going to do next is allow each candidate 2 minutes to kind of wrap it all up in a nice package, put a bow on it, y'all, and then we'll be closing. So we are going to start, our timekeeper there, 2 minutes each, starting with Reed, followed by Dawn and Ron.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming. I appreciate that you each came and took time out of your day. I already told a little bit about myself, but one of the things that I look for when we look at boards, and I sit on a few of them, when we have vacancies, that we always try to attract somebody for not only are they what we call a good marriage, you know, do they marry into the culture and what we want as far as, and in this case it'd be where do you sit politically with that person, but what skill sets do they bring? What experience do they bring to the board? How can they apply that to make us a better organization? And that's one of the things that I'm looking for as a voter, much less as a candidate. I believe that given the current challenges that our district faces in terms of setting a strategic direction and marching towards that, one of my biggest concerns right now is that we don't have a strategic plan, or the strategic plan that we developed 2 years ago hasn't been discussed. We need to get that strategic plan off the board, and our discussions and our decisions should be driven towards a direction, a vision of where we're going. Who has the skills to do that? Our next biggest challenge is budget. Who has experience actually delving into and reducing $350 to $400 million budgets? I do, and I have 15 years of experience of doing that. Looking at the divide in our community, who's really trying to reach out to both sides, or all sides, better said, and having meaningful dialogue. And I think that I've demonstrated through this candidacy, and will continue and throughout my career, that I'm willing to do that even when I don't agree. And so, as you look at candidates, I invite you to, yes, you've got to look at that marriage, that political element of it, but also look at skills and what the person brings. And with that, I ask you to seriously consider me and invite and encourage you to vote Reed Carr. Thank you.
It's kind of difficult. I'm not used to promoting myself, so trying to find the words to say that, it's difficult. I will talk all day about my kids, and I will tell you all about the great things that my husband does, but I'm kind of a little bit, I've been finding myself in this. I am a researcher. I enjoy doing the research. I love the numbers. I look at them, I ask questions, I do everything that I can to understand them. I think that I represent a lot of Gilbert. I'm a mom, I'm a community member, I am just you. And I think that we need that kind of representation on the board. I love Gilbert, I love the school district, and I will stand for Gilbert in any place, because this is a great place. And I want to be part of bringing the community back together. I want to be representative of the type of person that Gilbert is. So if we could say that Gilbert was one person, I would like to be representative of that. Someone who is respectful, someone who is kind, someone who does their research, who forms their opinions based on those types of things that she's talked to people with and about, and to become a community again and not divided. Thank you.
I too would like to thank you all for being here. This has been a very fun experience. Appreciate it. And the Cetus, thank you especially for spearheading this. I believe my life experiences provide that skill set that's important for Gilbert Public Schools. I've been a substitute teacher in Gilbert for 4 years, a few years ago. What a great experience that was. We have such great teachers and principals in this district, and we need to take care of them. They are the front lines of teaching our kids. That's very important, and I want to make sure that they're taken care of. We've got great parents, we've got great kids. That's what makes Gilbert so good. One of the reasons that we're ranked 20th by Wall Street Journal is because of the people that live here. The reason we're, number 2 in the country for safety is not because we've got a great police force, although I suspect we probably do, but it's the people that live here. And I believe I represent the folks in this town, and I want to do that on the school board. For 10 years and counting, I've been and still am a hearing officer for the justice courts here in Maricopa County. And I have a great opportunity to see people sometimes at their worst, but being respectful, making sure that people on both sides get the opportunity to talk and to air their concerns and then pass a judgment on that. That is something that's entrusted to me, and I take that seriously. I would take seriously the responsibility and the trust on the school board as well, because we have the most important thing to us, and that's our kids. And we need to take care of them, and we need to make sure that the folks around them are respected and taken care of as well. We do have, again, we've got a great school district. It can get better. We can do better. Accountability and transparency are 2 very good code words, and we have to make sure that the board is responsible and makes sure that they hold the administration responsible, accountable, and make sure there's transparency.
Thank you all so much for coming. We'd like to thank our candidates who so graciously and you're so kind, you're so gracious, and you're so sincere, and you're genuine, and I think that we all appreciate that very much. It's a breath of fresh air. So we'd like to thank you, Reed and Dawn and Ron, for joining us this afternoon on the beautiful, beautiful Saturday afternoon. Are we closing? Are we closing?
We are. We also want to thank Robin O'Bannon for moderating this event, for sure. And to all the candidates, really giving up, an hour plus on a Saturday, and everybody who came here, really, it means a lot. It means a lot to the community, to the kids, and obviously Gilbert Public Schools. So thanks for taking the time. It's a first-year event for us. We hope to do many, many more. We thank all of you for coming, and please make sure you grab some popcorn and tasty, tasty lemonade before you get out of here. But thanks again for coming, and we appreciate everybody taking the time today.
Yeah, but you don't get to walk away that quickly. No, you don't. No, you don't. Joe and Lisa, thank you so much for setting this up right here in front of your lovely home. Thank you so much. This is a wonderful thing that you're doing. I have children. I have 2 boys, 16 and 18. As a family, we have been through a lot, but let me tell you something. Whenever I lay my eyes on these kids, my heart is always with them because they are such a powerful influence. It sounds really cliche to say, to break into a Whitney Houston song and say that the children are our future, but they truly are, and they're going to be our grandchildren's parents, and so it goes. But this rising generation is especially powerful, and we owe them the very best that we have to offer, from our elected officials to the parenting that we do every day when someone asks for a piece of toast and you are just too tired to deliver. So, Joe, Thank you so much for this.
Oh, you're very
amazing.
welcome. We had a lot of help, obviously. Emily and Karen, Tammy, Anna, all you guys really helped. So we're out here this morning putting everything together, and really, we do it to give back to the community. We want to get to know the candidates, and certainly we would have loved to have seen Charlie and Jill here as well, because we think that they've got a lot to offer. Anybody who spends this much time volunteering, our hats are off to them. So we just want to get to know our candidates and really thank them for volunteering and moving through.
Thank you for coming.